There it is. We're coming back, you might say. I can't even be serious with this song on, man. What'd you say about this song a minute ago?
That I always said that if I ever had kids, this is what I'm making them to. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Fish Life Podcast. We've got a good one for you now. We got BPT roster chaos. No, keep it going.
Oh, you want to go?
Keep it going, man. Don't stop until we get to the hook.
Catch me in a mood.
BPT roster chaos. We're going to try to explain that. We got some Redneck science coming up.
Yes, we do.
Billy Ray's Redneck science.
That's right.
And we're going to let you ask her anything. By her, I mean Miss Lady McCoy, my lovely girlfriend, is going to be coming on tonight. And you guys can ask her fishing questions or ask her anything about me you want to know. Did I just roll over the hook with all my announcements?
Yes, I cry. This is my jam. Man.
Don't know the words.
Dude, this is like...
But it's good.
This is like second grade kickball on the playground.
Second grade? Good Lord, you're a child.
Come on.
Turn that thing off. You just made me feel old. You made all these gray hairs in my beard have a reason to be here. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the chaos known as the Fish Life Podcast, also known as the L Ball. That's the lowest budget, actually live podcast. Luke Duncan, we love you.
Which makes y'all
the low ballers. Yeah, L Ball makes y'all the low ballers, all that good stuff. Luke, please don't be mad at us for stealing your style a little bit. It's really the highest form of flattery, I think is what they say.
Speaking of thieving, I'm going to go ahead and do this.
We kind of stole a lot of our style from old Luke.
Speaking of
y'all
thieving,
go check out the Low Budget Live, Luke Duncan on the Traveling Circus. That's a great podcast as well.
I'm going to go ahead and steal some more because after seeing the episode last week, I feel like I'm in jeopardy of losing my job. So go ahead and do us a comment while you're in here. Give us a thumbs up. Drop a like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, do all that.
Comment, let us know you're here, and go ahead and hit that share.
Share this thing.
Because we need it. We need it shared. We don't know how to share it.
Are you losing your job?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Honestly, I'm amazed that you kept it for as long as you have.
No kidding.
I mean, I've seen how little you actually show up around here.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's like
punctuality is not a strong suit of your boy.
You'd never make it in the NFL because like availability is your best ability. That's something you need to work on.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Well.
So we're going to break down the Bass Pro Tour roster changes because we all know that's been confusing and weird, and we actually kind of did some looking at that and kind of figured out exactly how all this came about. They made their roster announcement this last couple weeks, so we got the final roster, and we actually went in there and dug into it and tried to make sense of how they got back to 80 where they originally were, and I think we've got it pretty well figured out.
Yeah.
We're going to do Billy Ray with a new segment this week. 2 new segments this week, folks. Billy Ray's Redneck Science, which is going to be just a simple-minded way of looking at nature and reading and helping you really tell what the fish are going to be doing when you go out. Say you're going out once a week for a trip, once every couple, whenever you get to go out, you can read some of the keys in Mother Nature around you using some old redneck science logic, and it's going to help you understand what the seasonal patterns are and what the fish should be doing. So we're going to break that down and talk to you guys about how I use some old simple redneck science every day, going out and catching these fish and knowing what they're going to do day to day.
It's kind of like an episode of Bill Nye the Science Guy for grown-ups with better jokes.
And
go ahead. Go ahead, don't bite. Can't catch your tongue?
Yeah, there's a lot I can't say about Bill Nye the Science Guy. We'll just say that. We're not going to go there.
Yeah, I knew where you were going.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Other new segment.
Ask Lainey anything.
Anything.
Lady McCoy, my girlfriend, she got introduced to y'all over a few videos over the last couple weeks. She was live on the podcast with us last week because the guy supposed to be here wasn't here. This guy to my right. But anyway,
I was driving home from beautiful Kansas. Can't say enough about it. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Lot to see.
Yeah, lots of grass.
Lot to see.
Yeah.
I was counting blades. I lost track by the time I got to Oklahoma.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
So she's going to be on here. You guys can ask her anything. Ask her fishing questions. She knows absolutely nothing about fishing. That should be interesting to see what her perspective is on fishing. Ask her questions about me. Whatever you guys want to know, Miss Laney's going to be the princess. Princess Laney's going to be happy to answer any and all of your questions, I think. I don't know. She's right over there staring at me. She's not. Actually, she's ignoring me. I don't know if she's going to be willing to answer anything, but we'll find out. We will test the bounds on this one right here.
That's right.
What do we want to start with? Bass Pro Tour roster, or what do you think, Chris?
I think we should go ahead and get into Billy Ray's Redneck Science because this is the one I'm most excited about.
Billy Ray's Redneck Science will lead it off. Let's say some hellos and how you doing to a few of our early risers.
Let's do that.
We got Blake Crutcher, John Dendy, Super Dave, Big John, Fish Bite, Gary Payne, Fishing with JC, Border. Whoa, that is a lot for a name there. Border RP server moderator. He's first, and he's correct. He was first. Good job. Good job.
Yeah, first or last.
Way to be there. Y'all continue to comment as you get in here tonight. So, Billy Ray's Redneck Science. We come with this. I was just talking to you kind of about something I noticed this week, Chris, and it's like, it's been real warm. You're like, let's talk about how it's been 70 in December, right? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's been 70 in December, but even though it's been 70 in December, I got more leaves covering my yard this week than I have the rest of fall combined.
I couldn't find your sidewalk.
No, you couldn't. And I just cleaned the leaves up last week, and it's just crazy. So it's been the warmest week we've had in a while, and yet the trees are turning and dropping leaves more than they have the rest of the fall. Mm-hmm. And why is that? Well, that has to do with daylight period. Mm-hmm. And so there's little things like this. And I've used things like when the acorns fall in the past. When dogwoods bloom is one that we all use in the springtime. I think a lot of people use the dogwoods in the springtime to indicate bass. Or first significant wave of bass usually correlates with the dogwoods blooming, with those big white blooms. Mm-hmm. If you don't know a dogwood tree, it's got big white flower when it blooms.
We also have trees out here that are not dogwoods that bloom white too. So
they look like it. Yeah, they're a little different though. Yeah, that's something. And we'll explain as we get to springtime. We'll keep the Redneck Science segment going when we have things to talk about like this. But what that tells me is, if those trees are going from fall to winter, regardless of air temperature, everything in nature is going to be shifting from fall to winter. Because those fish, they don't have a temperature gauge.
Correct.
But they do have a calendar. And by that, they have the sunlight period of the day. As that daylight period gets shorter and shorter and shorter, those fish instinctively know what's coming and what's happening. It has a lot to do with their spawning cycle. It's why there's such a big debate on what water temp the fish start spawning at. Generally, it's around 60 degrees. But I've seen fish spawn in 50-degree water, 53-degree water, 55-degree water. I've seen fish spawning in 85-degree water. I've seen bass spawning in water temperatures that range very, very widely. But the daylight period is their calendar. And what I'm seeing is that is more important than basically anything else for seasonal patterns and the types of ways that you're going to go about catching these fish, the types of techniques you need to use, the areas you need to target. Because even though we've had such a warm week, man, there's been a lot of fish hanging around creek channel bends, and we've been able to catch some on a jig. There's been a lot of fish hanging around bridges. We've been able to catch some on a jerk bait in Alabama. A jerk bait's probably the most popular bait on Lake Fork right now. It's because these fish are in a winter pattern. They're getting out of that fall, going into that winter pattern, even though the water is stabilizing and maybe trending slightly upward temperature-wise. That daylight period is telling those fish this is the time of year to get to these places where you have that deep water to shallow water access for those cold days that are coming. So it's real important to me, in my opinion, to pay attention to cues in Mother Nature. Like cues that are just as simple as walking out in your yard and looking at the trees.
That's right.
Right. Yep. That's a really big deal that I think is majorly, vastly overlooked in the world of bass fishing. You take a guy like Greg Hackney, you'll hear other tour pros will tell you that guy is so good because he's more in tune with Mother Nature. He's just lived outside more of his life than the rest of us have, and he's more in tune with Mother Nature and what's going on in it than the rest of us are. And it all correlates because all those wild animals that don't have they don't have the critical thinking capabilities, they're all living off instinct from the clues that Mother Nature is giving them.
That's right.
They don't have any mechanical or human influence on them. They are just living off the land. And so they have to listen to the land. And the trees and the plants and the deer and the hogs and the squirrels and everything is all the same way, man. All the same way. We can learn a lot from Native American history and the way that they lived and hunted. And if you really study some of that, those people really got into what was going on with the land. And that's how they were able to survive without any of the modern advancements that the rest of the world was beginning to have at that time. And those Native Americans continued to survive off of that. And so I think it's an important thing to listen to. And right now, what's going on is we're going into winter.
That's right.
Regardless of it being 80 degrees the other day, we're going into winter right now.
Mm-hmm. This is the winter transition.
As far as the way Mother Nature and the animals and the critters are acting. Heck, even I saw deer up moving around this week, even though it was 80 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's a daylight period. And I think daylight period is more important. So I think we all tend to look at that water temperature a lot and use that as our gauge of where those fish should be. It's not really the one you need to pay more attention to. It's really more about daylight period and seasonal patterns.
When you get into a full blown pattern, then that's when you should probably default to the water temperature and kind of.
And you got to take all aspects into consideration, right?
Correct.
So when I'm sitting here talking about this, it doesn't mean you don't consider the warm air temperature. It doesn't mean you don't consider the trend of the water and all that.
Right.
So as that happens, yeah, those fish are going to move to those winter places, but with those warmer days, maybe they rise up into those trees on the creek bed instead of being down in the bottom, and the jerkbait works better than the jig does. Maybe they come up out of that creek channel a little bit, get on that flat, the crankbait works. Like, you got to consider all those factors, but in general, those fish are going to get around their winter places whenever these trees start dropping all their leaves. That's where they're headed.
Kind of like the black buzzbait in January. It's
Right.
kind of an anomaly, but
they're headed towards those spawning grounds because the daylight period is telling them it's coming, and they're there before the water temperature is quite ready. But that buzzbait's a reaction bait. When they start getting shallow, you can catch them on it.
Correct. I've been getting Redneck Science for years. I'm glad that we're
You've
finally
been seeing
able
it.
to. I'm glad we're finally able to deliver it to the people.
Yeah. I've had a couple guys. You're one of them, and I've had a couple other guys that I spent significant time on the water with make comments to me about. There's little things that I notice that they would have never thought of, and it's just.
It's perspective.
Because similar to some of the guys that are out there doing it in a big way, I grew up outside, man. Like when I was a kid, we went to the woods every day. Like when we weren't in school, we went out in the woods and we stayed out there all day. And we fished in creeks and ponds and whatever we could throw a line in. Really, if I saw a piece of water, I was like, I wonder if I can catch a bass out of that. You know what I mean? So I've been doing this my whole life like that and paying attention to Mother Nature's cues on how to do things. So I notice them, I think, more than a lot of people do. Let's see if we have any questions. If you got any questions tonight, y'all drop them in real quick.
I got a question. Where the Texas fans at?
What? We're saving that to the end.
Okay.
We're saving that to the end.
Y'all be ready.
Texas sucks. It really sucks.
I got something to say.
Big John says, on the lake I was on yesterday, I could not find anything offshore and the water temp was 63. Well, I don't know. I don't know what lake you're on. There's a lot of aspects to that. If you're on a lake that has grass,
right.
You're on a lake that has different, doesn't have deeper water. There's different aspects to every lake that are going to change that.
If a lake has grass, fish that grass year round. Don't care.
What's a must-buy color on the 6-cent swim bait dropping tomorrow? I'm so bad about knowing the names of their colors.
Here, I got this.
If you can pull that up, I'll answer that question. Pull that up.
I got this. 6 cents.
He said no grass and no fish offshore. That's pretty confusing, Big John.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
I don't know. Small lake. Yeah, sometimes the small lakes are a little different. I don't know. That's an odd one.
Is it swim bait? Which swim bait is it?
I don't even know what it's called. Just go to swim baits. Go to soft plastics. Swim baits. It's not on there yet. Not on the site yet. It'll be on there Monday. Just a shad color. I like a shad color with a grayish or bluish top. The sweep, yeah, it's not on the website yet.
It is the sweep though.
Yeah. So I don't know what. I'm sorry, I can't answer that better. I don't know what those swim bait colors are going to be called on all that. But on my swim baits, light hitch has been my favorite bigger swim bait color over the years. So I like to have a bait that has a brownish or bluish top. I just like some brown or tan and some blue mixed in together at the top of the bait.
Thank y'all for dropping that.
And then a grayish silver bottom.
I said it's on Tackle Warehouse.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for that.
The sweep. Look up the sweep. Bear with us, folks. This is the beauty of live television here.
Jamie is on it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, we're looking on Tackle Warehouse right now. Yeah.
Is it
Redneck Jamie is getting after it over
That's
here.
right.
Paddletail.
Paddletail.
Just search the sweep. 6-cent sweep. We've gone radio silent. We've gotten long.
Boom!
Here it is.
Tell me the colors, baby. That bluegill looks mighty fine.
4K gizzard.
That's pretty.
4K shad.
No herring likes around here.
Be back here.
Got to have that.
Yeah. Pearl is that bone pearl is gonna be a real good one.
Ooh, I like that. Too.
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah.
Can we do top 3? I like that too.
So, wild shad is gonna be a really good one. Lavender citrus is gonna be a really good one. 4K gizzard.
Yeah, that's money.
Looks
dude.
nasty.
That's money, dude.
Yeah, that's money, dude. Yeah, 4K gizzard looks really nasty.
And then you get around the end of April, go ahead and grab that bluegill color.
Yeah, wild shad and 4K gizzard are my 2 favorite on there.
Yes, agreed.
So there you go. We narrowed it down to at least 2 of them.
Grab some 4K bluegill at the end of April. Just saying.
Yeah, John's still giving me information about that lake he had struggles on, man. What you're telling me there, I would have struggled too, because that's pretty confusing what was going on there. Say some days it's just hard to figure them out, I guess.
Have you ever fished Lake Bellwood in Tyler?
No. Lake smell good?
Yeah, right. So Lake Bellwood is one of those lakes that
Shallow, right?
It's pretty shallow. It has no grass. It has no timber.
No real offshore structure.
No real offshore structure. There's a couple brush piles that me and a few friends have made over the years. Just, a little PVC structure and stuff like that. Maybe some Christmas trees. But aside from that, there's nothing. And so when you get into these transition periods like we got right now, you go out there and you feel like you're in the Dead Sea.
Yeah.
And so I get it.
Yeah.
It's just tough.
Yeah, in those lakes, it's just, to me, in those lakes, it's really important just to not overthink it.
Right.
Those fish can only get on what they can get on. And if they're not on any of that, they're just out there in the middle and they're suspended and they're going to be tough to catch.
Yeah.
Now, if you have live sonar, that's going to make all the difference in the world.
Right.
But if you don't have live sonar and you got a lake that doesn't have a lot of options for fish to relate to, and they get out there in the middle, dude, it's just tough, man. There's not a lot you can do.
That's the same. That's the same lake that I borrowed. That's the same lake that I borrowed your gold trap from.
I remember that. And you brought it back with no paint on it. Mm-hmm. I let this sucker borrow one of my favorite rattle traps, my little 1/4 ounce gold trap. And he takes one with him down there, and he's basically brand new. He brings it back, and he's just done caught every fish in the lake on it.
Yeah.
And it's got like no paint left on it. I'm like, dude, you owe me a trap. This is bull.
Bellwood does have big fish in it.
It does pick out some big ones.
But people keep a lot of fish out of the lake too.
So let's talk about this Bass Pro Tour roster. This Bass Pro Tour roster, and the way they've gone about it has been, they haven't ever come out and given us definitive answers on how they're doing it, how they're going about it.
It's just kind of like, hey, this is what it is this year.
Yeah.
Happy fishing.
Like last year was a little less than 80, I think.
Right.
It's just been very confusing. But so let's bring some clarity there. We're going to attempt. Big task. We're going to attempt to bring some clarity to this for you. They are back at 80 anglers finally. So here's what happened. You remember back after the first year of Bass Pro Tour, Brandon Polnick, Gerald Swindle, they left. Everybody else stayed. That year, they brought in, it was Brian Thrift, and I believe it was Andy Morgan. It was 2 guys from FLW Tour that were big names.
Yes.
I know for sure Brian Thrift was one of them. And maybe Andy Morgan. But 2 guys like that. They come in, so they're back at 80.
Yeah.
So no harm, no foul. Fast forward another year. Greg Hackney, Jacob Porosnik, and Jason Christie leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're down 3 guys, and I think they just kind of, Dominus invited a couple guys. Who was one of them that we talked about that they invited earlier? We said his name earlier.
Look for the asterisk.
No.
Oh, no.
It wasn't an asterisk guy. It was a guy that they just kind of invited in. Oh, no, they didn't. Brian Thrift and anyway. Okay, so no, they didn't. So they lost 3 guys, and they just lost 3 guys. And that was just kind of below their normal deal.
Was Rumbanus one of the originals?
Yes, he was one of the originals. Okay. So that year when they lost Christie, Hackney, and Prosnick, they just didn't have 80 guys. And then now this year, we all know, so John Cox is now gone. Mm-hmm. John Cox is gone.
Dudley. David Dudley.
Yeah. And also Aaron Martins, unfortunately, is no longer going to fish on the Bass Pro Tour because of his untimely passing. So we're down 5 guys. And now they've brought in 5 guys from FLW Tour.
Correct.
That qualified, that were in the top 10 of points, but 5 of those guys were already top 10 were supposed to qualify to the Bass Pro Tour, but 5 of them were already in the Bass Pro Tour. They brought 5 guys in. Conveniently, that's the perfect number they needed to get back to 80, how lucky did they get that it wasn't 10 FLW guys and then they would have actually had to cut somebody? Because here's the bottom line. They have not cut anybody.
And the names they would have had to cut?
The first one is actually one of our favorites.
Yes, correct.
Kelly Jordan.
Kelly Jordan.
Also, one of Boyd Duckett's favorites.
Yeah. And Boyd Duckett would have been one of the ones cut as well.
I think Boyd Duckett would have got cut, or been right there at it, yeah.
Yeah.
So they got really fortunate that it worked out where 5 guys were in the top 10 that were not pre-existing Bass Pro Tour anglers.
Correct.
So they just said, well, if you're a pre-existing Bass Pro Tour angler, you're already in there. You're re-qualified. If you're new to FLW Tour, if you're new to Bass Pro Tour, then you can qualify if you're in the top 10. And it just happened to work out where they had 5 guys in the top 10 that filled those 5 voids they had from Christie, Porosnik, Hackney, Cox, and
there has been no
Aaron Martins.
There has been no requalification to this point.
Nobody's got cut.
Correct.
Here's what are they going to do next year?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
are they going to cut guys next year?
Are they going to do an average of 3 years or an average of 2 years, like Bassmaster?
Here's what I'll bet you. I bet you we won't know exactly how they do it. They'll just do it.
Agreed.
That's what I've seen so far. I really, not my place or not any of our place to tell this multi-million-dollar business how to operate.
Correct.
But I really wish, as a fan of the sport, this is a sport.
They would be more transparent about
And
it.
in a sport, there's a loser.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in any sport that you watch on a professional level,
Yep.
it ain't about everybody gets a trophy and feelings and we're all buddies and all. Somebody's got to lose to make this valuable. It brings more value to the win when somebody is losing. And if you don't have guys getting cut to bring new guys in that are potentially better, you're never going to improve that trail.
Correct.
It's just going to get worse and worse over time.
Because you can only rest on your laurels of having the most talented roster on the planet.
And I think we've kind of reached that point with them where it's like, well, are these guys really better than the Bassmaster guys?
Yeah, because you can only ride that wave for so long.
Because we thought that Jason Christie and Greg Hackney and Gerald Swindle and Brandon Polinick, those guys are all
Elite.
at the top
Yeah,
of even this roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're elite guys.
Then they came back to the Bassmaster Trail with a bunch of dudes that half of us hadn't heard of a few years ago.
That are beating him.
And Brandon Pollock's done really well. And Hackney had a good first year. Christie had a pretty good first year. Swindle's been okay, struggled a little bit here and there. But, like, these biggest names in the sport ain't just going out there and dominating, dude.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They're not going out there and dominating. And so we've kind of reached a point now where are these guys on the Bassmaster Elite Series as good as the names we've always known? What would happen if they fished against that? Like if you took, give me a name. If you took Austin Felix and threw him over on Bass Pro Tour, where would he finish in AOY?
Right. Patrick Walters.
Well, I think nobody doubts Patrick Walters is up there in the upper echelon of everybody now.
Okay, what about Brock Mosley?
Or Lee, our local guy.
Lee
Lee.
Livesey.
What would he do
Yeah.
on Bass Pro Tour? Probably pretty good.
I would assume.
Brock would probably do pretty good. I mean, so I don't know that there is a huge difference in the roster now. And if they don't start cutting guys and bringing in new blood that's hungry, it's going to reach a point where it's like, well, no, Bassmaster has the better fishermen.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to get there if they don't start doing something about it. So
It's going to be a ping pong situation.
from a fan's perspective, I would really like to see them get to a point where we know, as fans watching, this guy has to do this or he's not going to be here and somebody new.
Yeah, there's got to be transparency in
got
the
to be
business model.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it can't just be, well, we're just going to cut whoever we feel like cutting or, we're going to see who's going to leave because they don't want to fish our tour. Like, there needs to be some rules set out. And then if other guys leave, you got to have stipulations in those rules that allow for that.
Correct.
If you lose 2 other guys that changed trails because they qualified through the opens or whatever have you, you need to be able to have a clearly laid out plan to fill those voids. If you want to do it through FLW Tour, fine. If you want to do it through open invitations, fine. Just let us know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. It's confusing where some of these guys. I'm glad that we at least know the pool that these guys are coming from now, because that helps a lot. Because with as many little series that they have, it gets confusing as to like, okay, well, what are the Phoenix guys fishing for? Like, what are they fishing
Right.
for? What are the the tackle warehouse pro circuit guys? What are they fishing for?
It's like if you finish in the top 10 in points, and it conveniently works out for how many people we need,
and
you might get in.
Yeah, and
like,
if you pull your boat out of the ramp and there's a guy in a yellow rain jacket named Greg, if you shake his hand on a Tuesday, then you know you
I
might
didn't
get
say that. I didn't say that.
You know?
But yeah, it is. It's very confusing.
confusing.
So we'll just leave it at that. That is the best clarity we can give you. That is what has happened at this point. We hope, as fishing fans, for more clarity going forward in the Bass Pro Tour in their trail.
We just want to know.
Yeah.
We just
Inquiring
wanna know.
minds, baby.
Inquiring minds want to know.
That's right. I think it's about that time, Chris.
Oh, I think it is too.
I think it's about that time. I'm about to slide you over.
Ah, it's cool.
We're
I got a
gonna
face for radio, anyways.
we're gonna bring in our new segment here where we can ask Lainey anything if we can get her to go. I don't know.
Get your stretches out.
I don't know if she wants to get in on this deal or not. She's over there looking.
Start firing questions, boys.
She's already side eyeing me. You know what I mean? Give me that. Huh? Don't.
Can I sit right there?
Yeah, you're coming in right here. Coming in hot all the way from the couch. Miss Lainey
I almost fell
McCoy.
asleep in there.
You almost fell asleep listening to us talk about fishing? Chris, can you slide in here and get in the side of there he is. He's right there. All right, we need questions for Lainey McCoy. Now she's gonna give you guys some world-class bass fishing advice. You know a lot about bass fishing, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could pick a bass out of a lineup type deal.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
She thinks so.
Nice. I like this.
Can you cast a bait caster?
Yeah, I mean, like, not, like, if you hand me one right now, no. But, like, if you showed me,
If I showed you.
yeah.
Have you ever made a cast with a bait caster?
No.
No, you haven't. That's why she's going to give y'all some great answers to questions. It usually takes a minute for the question. Chris, here's what I want to know. I know you have some questions for Lainey, but do you have any questions that you can ask on air to Lainey?
Yeah.
All right. Well, fire one away, Chris.
All right. Ooh. Maybe I don't have any I can say on the air.
Well, thank.
I'm sitting there running through my mind.
Okay, we'll move on to the viewer questions.
Hold on. I'll come up with one. You-
Are you a Tupac? Are you a Tupac
I'm
fan?
sorry.
Tupac Shaker. Oh, Tupac Shaker. Are you a Tupac fan too?
Slightly.
Slightly.
Tupac or Biggie?
I think you've asked me this before, haven't you?
Tupac or Biggie?
Every guest that's ever been on the show gets asked these
That's
questions.
true. Tupac or Biggie?
Probably Biggie.
Biggie over Tupac.
Divided house.
I mean, see, I don't
But
really,
I like both.
Yeah, I do too.
I think she likes both. You like both?
I can put up with both, yeah.
You can put up with both? Well, it's working for me. She can put up with me, so.
All right, if you could bring back a men's hairstyle, what would it be?
Any hairstyle.
I was going to say a mullet, but that's already coming
It's kind of
back.
bad. It's bad.
I mean,
But not like Joe Dirt. Not like Joe Dirt or...
I've got a question for you.
so like a mullet you could wear to court.
Yeah.
I've got a question for
There
you.
you go.
It was the viewers on this channel back in May that had me start growing a mullet.
That's right.
And that's when we started being together, was May. So are the viewers on the channel the reason that you actually got with me because I started growing a mullet?
Yeah, because you always say that, like, your hair was short when we got together, and I don't remember that.
Hindsight.
So basically, the only reason
Okay.
this young lady's dating me is because of y'all. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Told you guys that I owe y'all everything. We've got some good ones coming in. Here's one that's interesting. Who is Lainey?
I love this. I love this
It's
mullet.
a great
more.
question.
So who are you?
Well, I think it's funny that he's asking that because, you know, I haven't really been on the channel a lot.
No, you haven't been on the channel very much.
So that's a question for you.
Well, I already told him you're my girlfriend. I know, you're very big on me telling everybody you're my girlfriend. I get it. Does she recommend... Is she... What? I can't even read this, Higginbotham. Is she recommending the deep diving topwater? Do you think that's a good bait? Is the deep diving topwater, is that a good bait?
I'm going to go with no. Because Chris is like,
She's passing the test,
Good for
boy.
you.
She's passing the test so far. Here's my favorite question. Do you have 20/20 vision?
actually, no. So about 4 years ago, I started going blind. So it's like at like a standstill right now.
Makes sense.
Obviously.
Makes sense.
Obviously.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
Best time, see, this is a very similar question. Two different guys, though. Best time of year for the deep dive and spinner frogs. When would you throw that? The deep dive and spinner frogs?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
For you.
Because it doesn't exist. Tell them.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know. Do you even know who Pac is as young as you are? Yeah. Tell them who your favorite music artist is of all time.
Keith Whitley.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
She likes that. She likes some old tunes.
Good for you.
Jeremiah says you got to have eye problems to think that I look fly.
But I never said he looks fly. I never said that.
There's an Offspring song.
There we go. For a white guy.
Yeah, that's right.
For a white guy.
All right, Laney. Is a drop shot crankbait a good bait?
Is it what?
A drop shot crankbait. Is that a good bait to throw?
Yes.
I like it.
We're gonna drop shot
Am
crankbait.
I getting lucky right now?
Here's the deal. No, that's not a real bait either.
Oh.
I mean, you could.
But Ozio's tried it.
He'll drop shot anything,
Yeah,
David
that's
Ozio.
right, that's right.
We love you, Ozio, but you'll try anything on a drop shot. That is.
That's right.
So, oh god, I had something to say, and I don't even remember it. You
I
got
know
me.
you did. I know
You
you
got
did.
me. Where's the best store to get
That's
blinker
not funny.
fluid? Where's the best store?
That's
To get?
not funny.
Why is that not funny?
Because I know that's not real.
Okay, well that's good that you know it's not real. Best store to get blinker fluid, Chris?
At my house.
Your house?
Yeah.
My guess would be the one that's extremely far away, because that's how the joke works.
That's right.
You gotta send them over. Hey man, you gotta go all the way over here to get this blinker fluid.
I
We
think
need
it's
it.
California
Yeah.
or New York.
Nobody wants to ask her a serious question. We keep getting these. Best time to throw the shallow diving chatter daddy wobblehead?
I'm assuming that's not a real thing.
That could just be a nickname for a chatterbait.
I mean,
Shallow diving chatter daddy wobblehead. That's kind of what a chatterbait is. What if you had a chatter? Ooh, we may have just invented something. What if you had a chatterbait with a swinging hook?
hold on. I'm trying to measure out if I can get that tattooed on my forearm.
Chatter daddy wobblehead.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, show them what you're doing over there.
I'm just measuring, like,
See if you can get
chatter,
the daddy wobble head.
Yeah, there's room.
The head would be on the bicep, but yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Here's a good one.
I
Here's a
did
good
the
one.
late.
Here's a good one.
I love this.
Maybe hold on.
This
Wait,
is
we're
so
listening.
much
We're missing some here.
fun. This is so much fun.
You're having a good time.
I'm having the time of my life right now.
Y'all are enjoying it.
Do you cook?
You just skipped a whole bunch, didn't you?
I skipped a couple for a good reason. No, I'm just kidding. Do you
Sometimes.
do you cook?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
When I feel like it.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
For myself or like.
Just in general.
Be honest.
Probably that dish that you showed me.
That's true. You do cook that good.
It's funny.
What is it?
It's like redneck stir fry, man.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
It's green beans and okra and diced mushrooms and onions with some smoked sausage mixed in, seasoned up, and all kind of sauteed. We almost lost the camera, folks.
Nice.
It's good.
How do you eat your steak?
However he cooks it. So what is it, like
Medium
medium
rare?
rare?
Medium.
Medium?
Yeah.
Fair.
Medium
I
rare to
actually
medium.
Didn't eat steak before. I got it.
Wow.
I'm a really picky eater.
Blake Crutcher's getting deep on us.
What do I like most about it?
What do you like most about me, Laney?
Absolutely nothing.
All right then.
The mullet, for sure.
The mullet. She's playing with it right now.
I
What?
don't know.
You don't know?
Let me think.
Oh boy, this is not good that she's got to think that hard about that.
You're undeniable.
Never
Well,
mind.
I like so many things.
That was a terrible
Ooh,
question.
good recovery. Nice. Your undeniable ability to be right. You hear me? Y'all don't see me, but I got a fireplace poker, and I'm just stoking.
Oh yeah, y'all don't even know what's going on behind the scenes over here. Have we had any boat ramp? So you really don't like anything about me? Everybody out there thinks you don't like anything about me right now.
I said there's a lot I like about you.
Yeah, she said there's too many. She's having to lay it out.
We sat on the couch and talked about this the other day.
Well, it's up to you to tell it. I can't answer your questions for you.
The highest of highs and the lowest of lows. You got to pick it.
Have we had a boat ramp argument yet? I can answer that. No, we haven't, because I'm just like, go ahead and sit in the boat and relax. I got it.
Fair.
Boat ramp arguments usually happen with couples when, like, the woman tries to back the trailer down and she didn't really know how to back the trailer down, or tries to launch the boat. She don't know how to launch the boat.
I just sit in the.
Yeah, she just kicks
I
back.
just sit in the boat and he does it all.
Hey, if Billy was a country song, what country song would he be?
Hard to Love. Kevin Fowler.
All right, if he was a hip hop song, what hip hop song would he be? Return of the Mac.
For sure.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Would he be Good Vibrations by Mark Martin?
Next question, please.
Next question, please. All right, would you catch more fish from the front of the boat or the back of the boat during the spawn in Billy's boat?
Back of the boat for sure is my answer.
What do you think? Would you catch more fish in the front of the boat or back?
I've
of the
never
boat?
seen you fish in the back of the boat.
Well, they're talking about you fishing. If you were fishing with me, would you catch more fish if you were on the front or in the back?
Well, I've never seen you fish in the back of the boat, so I mean, obviously.
No, I'm going to be in the front, but if you're fishing with me...
You're not understanding what I'm saying. If I've never seen you fish from back there, why would I do it?
There you go.
That's a fair point.
Cody Mays says you won't in a spawn. He will hog all the bed fish.
You ain't lying.
I've done it to him, so
You ain't
who
lying.
knows?
There's a video with Zach Watts having to put you in place on that deal.
Yeah, oh yeah. Does she have any older sisters that are single?
No. I have one older sister, but she's not single.
She's not single. Apparently, she doesn't watch your videos.
Absolutely not.
No, she doesn't.
I would if they weren't 38 minutes long.
Hey, that was a smooth try and get an introduction though.
Yeah. My man worked it on in there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Mays says, "What is my lady doing?" Cody Mays.
Cody Mays. I can tell you what I like about Cody Mays.
Mr. Steal Your Girl Mays over
I'm
here.
telling you.
There's a grown man named Cody and a baby named Cody, both friends of mine. Vic's baby Cody and the grown man Cody Mays. They're both trying to steal my woman all the time.
It's a Cody thing.
It's a Cody thing. She's got a thing for Codys. Well, I'm never bringing Cody Cannon around her.
Speaking of which, I seen him the other day.
This is actually a deep relationship question that I don't know. This is a great one. What was y'all's first thought of each other when you saw each other?
Man.
And if we could tell the whole real story of that, it's so much fun. But we can't tell that story. No, we can't. I thought you sure are pretty to look at, mad.
We're talking about that at that moment.
First time you saw me.
Like what? But like we're talking about the same moment.
What you thought of me when you first saw me. That's the first time I remember seeing you. I don't know if the first time you remember seeing me.
First thing I thought was, man, this guy's drunk.
Yeah, probably so.
I figured she'd go with, that dude trying to grow a mullet?
That was a long time ago.
We actually met like almost a year, like right at a year before we started dating. So it was a long time ago.
All right. I got one. While you're sitting.
Go ahead.
This is for both of y'all.
All right.
So each have a separate answer. Billy, if you were going to sing a karaoke song to Lainey, what would it be? And if you were going to sing a karaoke song to Billy, what would it be?
This is easy. We go to karaoke all the time.
I have sang many a karaoke songs to Lainey, actually.
If you had to pick one, Keeper of the Stars by T-Bird?
Definitely not.
Whoa.
Like to him?
Yeah.
Because we go to karaoke all the time.
Yeah, but like, you know the drunk dude on the mic. This goes out to Shannon Lee, baby. I see you sitting over there in the corner, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like one of those. Like this goes out to Billy Ray.
If I could only sing one to her. I don't know.
I hear them hamsters running.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's your song?
I
To
don't
me.
know. Like, I don't see myself getting up on stage and saying that.
No, you definitely wouldn't.
We've sang some songs together.
We have sang a couple songs together.
All right, well, since y'all made that real fun, y'all want to know my favorite karaoke song to get up there and sing?
Yeah.
The Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler. I kill it every
I
time.
did get up on the karaoke mic and try to sing Justin Bieber the other night.
Nice.
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
I couldn't remember any of the words.
He really likes to sing Snoop Dogg.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on.
for sure.
What?
California Love is.
What's that Wade Bowen song? What's it called?
Who I Am.
Who I Am. That's probably the song I picked. Wade Bowen, Who I Am.
Good.
That's probably the one I would, if I could sing, had to pick one.
Well, as long as y'all ain't singing Buck Cherry songs to each other, it'd be all right.
I don't know who that is.
You know what I'm talking about? You ever listen to
Buck Cherry?
Old school rock band back in the early 2000s.
Michael Menon says, knew each other for a year before they started dating and didn't get friend zoned. Amazing.
Amazing.
Well, we talked like once, and then I think we didn't talk for like
Yeah.
a year. We'd see
Somebody
each other
else,
out.
somebody else asked earlier, and I missed it. How we met? How we met, and how we met was just having some mutual friends that hung out at the same place, and we would always just kind of end up there together.
Yeah.
And then one night, I mean, look at her and look at me. I had no clue there was any interest from her, and she's, to her
And
credit,
there wasn't.
to her credit, she's very kind of quiet and reserved around people for the most part out like that. And just one night, it ended up being just me and her sitting at the table that we always sat at with all our friends. And then that was the first time we really talked to each other like that. And so that's kind of how it started. By accident.
Yeah, I think I talked you into going to a different bar after the first one closed.
You definitely did.
Well, I didn't have to talk him into it. He definitely wanted to go.
Yeah, he's a hard one to talk into.
Yeah, for real.
Timmy Rhodes says that I look like the Hamburglar from the old McDonald's commercials. I've heard it said that if you want to drown Billy Lawson, you just roll a cheeseburger down a boat ramp, and they're not that wrong. I'll be honest with you. I like a cheeseburger. I do like a cheeseburger.
Okay,
Here-
Cody May.
If Billy was to buy you a new car, what would it be?
Like, the one I want, or if you just went and picked one out?
You can take that question however you want. If Billy was to buy you a new car, what would it be?
I think if you went and bought a new car and surprised me with it, it would be a Kia Telluride. But
If it was what you wanted, it would be.
probably an Escalade.
Damn!
Or a Tahoe.
Damn!
Mm-hmm.
It's probably
Renner, am I ignoring you, Renner? I'm sorry, I've been
Pimpin'
ignoring
runs in the
Renner.
family.
Renner says she's like my wife. Lucky. I agree, Renner.
Aw.
I agree. And
That's been my dream car for several
John
years.
Higginbotham said Frogman on the song deal. I mean, I love that song.
That's a good song.
She knows how much I love that song, but I don't think that's the one I'd pick to sing to Lenny because she probably hates that song for how much she hears it in my truck.
Agreed.
Michael McDaniel asked, do you like bass fishing?
I mean, it's alright. You know, like, I've been asking you to take me.
You have been asking me to take you.
You about to get your wish.
Yeah, we going to Ivy for a week, so I'm sure you're going to jump in the boat at some point. Chris, what else do we have? Do we have any other things we were supposed to do tonight?
You know, I like the way this is going. Y'all keep it going.
Ritter says, my wife bought herself a new bass cat. And when are you going to buy yourself a new skeeter boat, Laney?
Why would I buy myself a skeeter boat?
Just because
She's
you
not
want
getting
to.
it. Doug Renner's, the Bass Cat's another boat brand. Renner said his wife bought herself a new Bass Cat. Really, it's for him. He bought the new Bass Cat.
You just put in a new order for a boat.
I actually didn't put the order in, but yeah, I'm about to.
That I designed the new boat.
Jealous. Pure
She's trying to get to
jealousy.
me.
Pure jealousy right there. The Skeeter Bug is interrupting the podcast now.
Skeeter has entered the chat.
If you're in trouble, blink twice.
I've been in trouble for a while.
I've been in trouble for a while.
That's funny. I like that.
If you are being held against your will, blink
If
twice.
you're being held captive, don't do anything.
Yeah. Scotty McDowell. Oh, Scotty. Scotty said he's going to join us on the trip. He's a friend of ours. He's going to be out there with us. How'd I do this, Chris?
Oh, you gotta have my face.
I got to have your face. Thank God I don't have the ability to get in this phone.
I know.
All right. I think, well, we do. Chris, there is something. We had to do a what's grinding Chris's gears. We haven't done one of those in a while. Push old Skeeter Bug off your lap for a second.
Skeeter, I will spar with you in a minute.
Chris, tell me what's grinding your gears, my man.
So I don't know if any of y'all are Yellowstone fans, like myself, but I have to wait an entire week between episodes to watch Yellowstone. And it's a problem, because all my friends watch Yellowstone, and inevitably they spoil what happened, because my girlfriend works Sunday to Wednesday, and I don't get to watch it until a week later. I'm upset.
You're upset.
I'm upset about that.
We're about to watch it. Just so you know,
I know. We talked about it.
we're about to watch Yellowstone as soon as we're done with this podcast. Somebody told you
We need a
to
pack.
call 911. Yeah, what we're doing when we get off this podcast is
Packing stone.
we're gonna watch Yellowstone and we're gonna pack bags for a week at OHIV. Let's see. Call 911 and order a pizza.
What is this, truth or dare?
No, I think that's like a code thing.
Yeah.
What is
Yes.
it? You know what it is. What is it?
They send the authorities
Yes, like
to your
if
location.
pretty much like it's like me secretly saying like, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
you knowing.
There you go.
But now you know.
Like
Now I
you
know.
Think, you think I'm
I'll be honest with you. I would just be so excited there was a pizza coming. I wouldn't even remember the
Yeah,
rest
so
of
now
it.
you gotta, now when you call them, you gotta order like blueberry scones or something. You know what I'm saying?
I would just be happy
I
there
don't
was.
know if they would
I,
know.
I wouldn't think anything about a top secret code. I'd just be like, babe, you ordered us a pizza?
We're in a fight right now.
Come on,
You
that's
order a pizza.
amazing.
I love you.
I love you.
Double cheese? That must mean come quick. Like extra pepperoni, double cheese. Oh, she needs this like now.
Gary CU says he's getting a 2011 Triton 21 and would like me to teach him bass fishing, moving from Florida to Texas, from saltwater to freshwater. Well, man, just look us up at yourlakefortguide.com. We can book you trips there. I'd be more than happy to help you any way that I could. But yeah, just reach out to us at yourlakefortguide.com. You can email us from there. You can call us from there. Text us on that number that's on the website. But we can get you set up on trips right through that website.
Bang bang.
Cody May says, Chris, you need a new job.
Can we? Yeah, no kidding, right? It's because we don't get to talk no more. Hey, can we do a shameless sponsor plug?
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by.
Oh my
Redneck Sweet
goodness. Chris, what else did you want to tell? You had something for some football, college football
Oh
fans.
yeah.
Tell us what's going on in college football.
Okay, so any Texas fans out there, just email us and just with your full name, just that's all I need in the subject line because I've actually got a bunch of free tickets to the bowl game for the Longhorns this year, and we're gonna send them out to y'all.
What bowl game did they qualify for, Chris?
They almost made it to the toilet bowl.
The toilet bowl.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Can't even flush them turds. They couldn't get in.
Couldn't get in.
Texas, you didn't even make a bowl game. So varsity's horns off. So varsity's horns off. Yes, Texas fans, you are the worst team in Texas.
You are the
Congratulations.
weakest link. Goodbye.
How's the fishing at Fork? The fishing at Fork has been pretty okay.
Would you say fair?
And there's quality to be caught, no doubt, this time of year. There's definitely quality fish to be caught. They're getting into some winter patterns slowly but surely. Not every one of them yet, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's typical stuff. It's main lake timber and bridges with Alabama rigs and jerk baits. It's creek channel bends with a jig in your hand. And then there's a little bit of in-between fish where you can just kind of go flip around with a little Texas rig Cinco or, you know, you can do all kinds of things right now because we're kind of in a transition. So we got some fish spread out doing different things. But they're definitely coming to those winter patterns, those traditional black and blue flipping jig in the creek bend, A-rigs on main lake timber and bridges, stuff that me and you've done for
What about the trap?
years.
Is the trap coming alive?
Man, you can. I'm throwing a flat-sided square bill more than I'm a trap because there's just not much grass. Lake being low, lake's 3 foot low, not very much grass that's deep enough to
Rip that.
get that trap in and catch fish. To hold fish in right now, honestly, is the deal. The grass is so shallow that's there with the lake being low. But no, that's pretty much what we're doing. The winter patterns are better, and then just kind of flat-sided crankbait and a Texas rig Cinco in the in-between transitional type areas.
It's fixing to be full-blown pre-fishing for me and Mr. Houston Carroll getting ready for medium bass. Getting about the time of year I like.
Is the water low enough to see stumps on the creek channels? On some of them, Doug, it is. And I know what you're talking about, yeah. And on some of my creek channels I can and some I can't because, you know, in the past we had it down at 6 and 7 foot low for a year or two, and then it got all the way down to like 4 foot low. Remember back in the day when we were fishing jigs a lot, it was about 4 foot low. Right now it's about 3 foot low, and I think a lot of those trees broke off at that 4 foot level. So some of them you can see at 3 foot low. There's one creek bend that I'm really fond of that I can barely see the tops of the stumps right now that I fish every day when I'm out there right now. But a lot of them I still can't. Yeah. And Doug Renner's one of those guys that maybe not everybody knows his name, but the guys that are in the fishing world know his name because the dude can catch them. And he's just a local angler from the Ray Hubbard area, but he's freaking hammer. And he's exactly right in what he just said. Best jig fishing when the water gets 4 foot low or lower. Yeah, absolutely. Because you can see every stump on the channel, so you can be so precise. But here's what I'd say to you, Doug. If you got live sonar now, which a lot of us do, it's changing everything, man. Because it ain't even about seeing fish. I can go up to those creek bends, and whether the water's low or not, I can point right at that stump and throw my jig right beside it. Like right beside it, even when I can't see the stump, you know. In years past, if you couldn't see the top of the stump, you're kind of blind casting that bend, guessing right exactly where that stump was and hoping you hit the root system and didn't climb over the tree or didn't miss the root system altogether. Now with live sonar, I can pinpoint that cast every time. Between 360 and live sonar, man, I can cast to a root system at every single cast. So efficient.
Ladies, like I already covered all this. I don't know why they keep asking these questions. Don't hurt yourself.
Trying to read.
Yeah.
There's some stories wrote on here.
Oh.
Somebody said Boomer Sanders.
Yeah, get me started on that.
Yeah. Couldn't even keep their coach around. My goodness.
I got a Sooner joke, but I don't think I can say it.
Ritter says he doesn't have a 360, but he's got a live scope. Man, you'll be able to just pan around and find them stumps and fire at them. 360 just makes it a little easier to see the ones that are kind of off to the side and behind you and all that, but you can do it without. Has Billy taught you to dip yet, lady?
I'll pass.
You'll pass? Is it something you don't want to
That
learn?
one.
You'll leave that up to me? No, I can't even make that question out.
I like this Ask Laney Anything segment. This is fun.
You like?
I do.
Do we need to make the Ask Laney Anything? Do we need to make that a weekly segment on the podcast, folks? Drop that in the comments. And actually, yeah, I think we will. Negative 10 points for Better Billy.
That's funny.
Chris, get that music queued back up, man. I think it's about time to wrap this sucker up, dude. I'll tell you what, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Pretty good crowd here tonight, and kept the viewer retention all the way to the end. We kept our peak viewer retention all the way to the end of the show. Can't tell you guys what that means, man. That means a lot. It says a lot about, like I always say, we don't have the biggest audience, but we dang sure got the best audience. I can guarantee you that, man, of anybody. Tim Rose keeps asking, when is my trip to Fort? When is my trip to Fort? Tim, you got my phone number. Send a text. We fished together for years. Anytime you want to go, then we can line the schedule up. You just got to let me know, buddy. Crank it on up, Chris. It's the return, baby. We back. You going to dance to this for us, lady? Get a little head bob or something. Give him one of these.
Don't do that.
Get it.
But don't
Hey,
break it, Billy.
when a lady gets out on the dance floor, you know when she's feeling right. When she's had enough drink and she goes, we call that, that's not the nay-nay, folks. That's the lay-lay. That's her patented dance move. Don't let me see you doing it or she going to sue you. Hey, thank
Not
you.
seen it.
Scott has seen it. You're right.
Copyright seal circle, baby.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Always, Chris. Appreciate you, big dog. My man. Lele, the princess. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see y'all next time with your Lake Fort guy.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I'm feeling myself.